What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Loot Gaming, the show where we talk about gaming news. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Chris.
And we have 4 topics to talk about. Real quick reminder, though, we don't know what the PlayStation Plus games are yet, but when we do find out, we'll let you know. You probably know already, and we will talk about those at the end of the month. Also, game of the month for December is The Witcher 3. So if you have that, if you've played that, if you've been thinking about picking it up, definitely play it, and we'll also be talking about that at the end of the month. But yeah, let's get into the news. First bit of news.
So, No Man's Sky, as of recording this, had its first major update called the Foundation Update, or 1.1. Just some of the cliff notes to it real quick. You can now build bases by a freighter, which also acts as a base up in space. And some quality of life changes, seems like better inventory management, save points, things that'll mine for you. Overall, just making it a more complete game at this point. We all watched the trailer for it. I would recommend you do the same. That being said, what do you think of the update, and does this make you want to revisit the game?
I'm mixed on it. I do like that they're making a push to get this content out. A lot of people argue it should have been out already. Regardless of that, it is released, and I think it is a good start to show that they're serious about making this game something that you're going to want to play. Even in the tweet that Sean Murray put out, essentially said that hopefully this will entice anyone who's still part of the community, so he's aware that people are unhappy with it and people are still around. Hopefully they'll enjoy this. I think it's cool. It does get me a little interested in it again. If anything, I kind of want to hop in there. There's the new sandbox mode. Kind of want to hop in there and just kind of fuck around, see what they did. I'm not like super excited about it, but I am definitely interested. And if it's cool, I'd like to kind of wait and see what else they come out with. But again, big thing, they need to put multiplayer in the game. I know they don't want to do that. They're just gonna have to do it.
It doesn't really entice me too much. It looks pretty much like Subnautica to me. If you guys ever played that before, it pretty much is like a space version of Subnautica. Like even like the way they build the building seems very reminiscent of that. I mean, it's neat. Like you guys said, it's basically like finally a finished product, which is kind of sad.
We're getting there, yeah.
But I don't think I'm gonna go back to it, to be honest.
It's fair.
I'm also conflicted. I would like to come back to it. I think some of the features are tempting. The same problem I have now that I did when it came out. I don't think it's a bad game as much as people have, essentially said it is.
It's bad communication.
It is bad communication, but my point with that was there's other things I want to play more.
Definitely.
And that makes it really difficult for me. So.
Well, like I said, this piques my interest. I'm curious about it. I'm not excited for it though.
Yeah.
It is cool. They released it. They made good on their promise that they're going to add being able to build buildings and bases, stuff like that. So that's cool. It just sucks because after this game got released and all the shit that happened with it, whatever, Star Citizen showed a lot of shit that's on par with what this game was trying to offer. Only if you've seen anything on Star Citizen, it's like a AAA looking fucking game that just has so much. That game's never going to finish.
Supposedly officially releases next year.
They're not rushing that game at all, and look at it. It's fucking insane. And it does have a giant fucking worm in it. That's insane. So, I think there's room for the two, even though No Man's Sky came out first, but No Man's Sky is definitely going to be the more casual game in that kind of genre versus Star Citizen. Not to compare them too much, but when talking about am I excited for this, Star Citizen kind of stole me on that. They kind of fucking were like, hey, all those things you want in that game, look at our game. It looks so much better, and it's going to do way more stuff. So I'm kind of just kind of been hijacked, I guess.
Yeah.
By a different game with similar stuff. Any last thoughts?
No.
All right, for a second bit of news. As of this episode releasing tomorrow, there's going to be the first of many free DLCs for Titanfall 2. Now, if you've been watching the channel lately, you know it's pretty much all I've been playing outside of Warframe. Super fucking into it right now. I suggest you go play it if you haven't already. But Respawn has said that they don't want you to shell out more money for the complete experience of the game. You bought the game, you're going to get everything that comes out for it. And they're making good on that promise with releasing their first DLC that's going to offer a new map that was from the first game, Angel City, if you're familiar with that. It's going to add new kits, which if you're not familiar with that, what that is, are essentially special moves for your Titans. They're adding one for each one, so I didn't even know they're doing that. That's fucking awesome. I'm already talking about my opinion on it. And obviously I'm biased. They're adding some kind of prime version, which runs in Warframe, of one of the pistols, the Wingman, which is a revolver. And they're adding a no bullshit way to spend real money if you want to buy skins in the... essentially, they're creating a shop to be able to buy skins you can already unlock in the game. But if you want that shortcut, you want that outfit or that color scheme, you can just buy it. What do you guys think about, first off, free DLC on a game and promise of no payments of DLC later, skin shop, and new content?
I mean, always new content is great. A new map already, that's really cool. If they are if they're gonna do it in this fashion where it's just like one map at a time, but it increases or they come out faster. Mm-hmm. I actually think that'd probably be good because you're going to be constantly getting them just kind of thrown in to the mix. As far as the cash shop goes, I'm never opposed to. I know there's a lot of people out there who hate the idea of microtransaction shops, but if they're purely cosmetic, I have no complaints whatsoever.
Me neither.
It is optional 100% at that point.
Plus, you can unlock it in game,
yep.
And it's not hard. Like I'm telling you, fucking just play the game.
And then adding
do your happy hours,
new gameplay elements to the Titans will be interesting to see. So.
Yeah, Chris.
I don't actually play Titanfall, but the model I think is sound. I think this is the way that most games are going these days, where DLC is, so you see it starts to get more common, where DLC is free, and then the cosmetics which you pay for. I think it's just a really good model, and eventually all games I think are going to go to this. Microtransactions are going to be everything.
It's really interesting. I don't want to get into that conversation too much because we have another microtransaction discussion towards the end of this episode. But it's really interesting how before there was expansions, which I do prefer, but I do see the point in DLC. You get content out faster. You, I think, make more money doing that. But I feel like some people have been fucked over by DLCs and feeling cheated, and people feeling alienated where they don't buy the DLCs, that they're not getting the full experience, and people are getting separated from each other based off what they've bought and what they own.
Yeah.
And and Respawn and it sounds like a couple other companies are kind of diving in, trying to find a way to fix that, which is really really interesting because the DLC model that worked so well for so long, it seems like it's evolving and maybe potentially going away, but not completely. So yeah, I do agree. It's sound. I think we're going to see a lot more of this coming out just because it seems like it's working. As for my opinion on all the content, like I said, I love the game, so I'm excited for more stuff. The new kits is going to add more to customization. You're going to be running into Titans with different builds now, more than there was before. If they keep doing this, they keep adding kits, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be insane.
Variety.
Exactly. I mean, I wasn't even expecting that. When I read that, I was like, holy shit. Like, they're changing the game. That's awesome. The map is cool. And again, like what you said, if they can release one map sooner than a 4 map pack every 3 months, I think that could be beneficial because it's going to keep you waiting on those, especially so in Call of Duty, you wait like 3 months, you get a map pack, it's exciting for a second. But the problem is the way the community's set up, half the people don't even have those fucking maps, and you have to get into special map lists or playlists to play those maps, and it's just kind of a hassle. So they're releasing the map for free, everybody's going to have it, and if they can pump them out more often, I feel like it's just going to kind of get put into the rotation of maps, and it's just going to kind of feel more organic, which I think is really cool. I'm excited for that. And it's Angel City, which was one of the best maps in the first game, so that's cool. And then the prime Wingman, I don't know what the fuck that is, but I'm primed, I'm ready, I'm fucking excited for it. So yeah, I'm stoked, and you should be too. If you don't have Titanfall 2, it's been on sale a lot lately. Go look for those. Cyber Monday, even though it's Tuesday. Hopefully you got it yesterday. And yeah, they're bad news.
So GameStop has come out and done essentially a rundown on how business has been for them in the last year. And just to do some cliff notes real quick, they are experiencing lower profits than the year before. I believe this is happening continuously at this point. They're still making profit, so they're fine, but that number is going down. A couple other bullet points they threw out is Call of Duty Infinite Warfare underperformed for them. Pokemon Sun and Moon was the most pre-ordered game in the last 5 years for them, and the best-selling game for them in 2016. The last bit of like sales information from them is the PlayStation 4 Pro is selling strong, and the PS VR is also selling strong at an average shelf life of 10 days. So they're not staying on the shelf very long. How do you guys feel about GameStop's situation right now?
The first two things I want to talk about is the sales of the Pro and the VR, which is kind of surprising to me. I figured the Pro would sell well enough, but not be successful. I don't know. For some reason, I just thought it was kind of a niche thing. As of now, of course, it's going to be the standard PS4 people are going to be buying, but that's cool. It's good to hear that. I'm glad that worked out for them. The VR is really interesting, though, because a lot of people who haven't experienced VR still think of it as a gimmick, which I think is really interesting because fucking try it. It's not. So I'm glad that that's doing well because it's not a gimmick like other consoles have done. It's definitely going to be another path of gaming. It's not going to replace it, but so that's cool that that's successful because if it is successful, it's going to promote them to
more development,
make more games and support it. If it dwindles, the people who bought it are going to suffer and it's going to suck. So buy the fucking thing and hopefully get some cool VR games. As for GameStop losing money, yeah, they've been doing that. I think they're just not getting with the times. I mean, when they start switching over, like I went into a GameStop. I don't shop at GameStop personally. But when I've gone into them, I saw them have like toys on the wall. There was like iPhones and shit and like electronic trade and stuff like that. I was like, this isn't a good sign. They're trying to turn it into Best Buy. But they didn't start as Best Buy and they don't have the room for that shit. So obviously if they're changing their model and how they sell things, especially with digital distribution fucking taking over, I buy most of my shit at Best Buy or on Amazon or digitally. I think it's going to keep getting worse for them. I can't foresee a way for them to fix the situation because their model is just outdated.
Yeah,
Pokemon, it makes sense. Whatever.
What I think is surprising though in the last 5 years is the most pre-ordered game though. That was really surprising to hear.
Yeah.
As far as the toys and stuff, part of the bullet notes on that too was I guess toy sales actually was a huge part of their profit. So
that's they're fucking Toys R Us now. It's good. Toy Stop.
I'm not surprised. You're basically seeing what happened with Blockbuster and Netflix. You're just losing business because you can't keep up with the new market.
Yep.
And it's just going to keep losing and losing profit. I am surprised that the PlayStation VR has a 10-day shelf life. I would imagine it would have been going faster than that.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Because I think VR is really big hype. I know a lot of people still think it's gimmicky, but I think...
Even at that price point, though? I think a lot of people can just shell out $400 like that?
Yeah, I do. I think a lot of gamers can. A lot of gamers do put a lot of money into buying things. So
it's a good way to put it. Gamers definitely are just like, their priorities are fucking. I bought the VR.
I have top
like
ramen.
Week, yeah.
I'll just VR.
Exactly. No, that's a good point. As long as you got top ramen, you can make a bunch of bad decisions.
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Top ramen allowing people to make bad decisions.
But yeah, I just imagine a scene. The profits just keep dropping and dropping and dropping until they finally decide to pull out and just give up.
Do you think either of you think there's a way they could correct this for them? Not that I care, fuck them.
Unless they get some sort of way to get exclusive digital codes for downloading games from their stores only. I think that's really the only way they can start.
I think they should pull a Walmart. And what I mean by that is Walmart has their superstores and then they have like grocery stores now.
Mm-hmm.
Make GameStops that sell classic games as a separate branch.
Yeah, I can't imagine classic game places lasting even with GameStop doing it. Because you have to acquire the stuff, which is going to be harder and harder over time. They got to buy it at a point and then sell it at a higher price point. Mm-hmm. And mom and pop shops that do that can't last. And of course, they're not a corporate company, so they're going to have a little more problems. But like, you can still buy stuff like that on the internet now so easily, like on Amazon and shit. That they're still going to feel like run into a problem. But I do agree that maybe they should create different stores for different things. Like if their toy sales are fucking are a driving force in their profits, I mean, maybe make like a collectibles GameStop collectible place or something.
Just
I don't know.
something that is similar enough that people, when they see the GameStop name, they know what they're getting into, but then make it just a completely different type of thing. And I think even with the classic game thing, they can do that on their website even instead of in the stores, and they can just promote it in their stores. I personally would love to be able to go find some old like PS2 and PS1 games, and I have to buy them from people, and the prices are going to be super skewed, especially on rarity and stuff. So
yeah. I also think, randomly just thinking of this, I think their trade-in values is another thing that's kind of hurt them. Because sometimes their trade-in values are even something that people really are excited for is when they have like deals. But I mean, like they're so notorious for people being pissed at what they're getting offered, and other companies too. I mean, Best Buy went in there with a fucking a 2DS, which obviously isn't in high demand. But I was like, hey, I want to trade this in. And he's like, this is worth $3. I was like, I'd rather give this to somebody for free.
$3.
$3. They're like, we'll give you $3 for that. I'm like, I would rather throw this on the ground, break it, for the fun of it, than take $3.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's fucked everywhere, but everybody's got to be competitive about it. I see Best Buy sometimes have better trade-in values, sometimes GameStop, but I think that's a big deal because I think it adds bad. It makes people think badly about the company because they don't want to feel like they're going to a place just to get ripped off. So I think that's another thing that kind of has given them a bad name. They're notorious for it.
they could also start publishing games. I think would be a good way to make money.
Sure.
So
Well, they bought Congregate, I think.
yeah, they don't congregate.
Yeah.
But if they actually made like a publishing company and just started publishing even like indie games or something,
Yeah.
publishers make a lot of money. So look at EA and Activision; they're monsters. So
Then they could have exclusive rights to sell physically or something. I don't
in
know.
their own stores.
Yeah.
I hate to give them that idea, but I mean that's
Yeah, I mean, essentially, they should watch this and just be like, oh, they're onto something, and then give me money. I'm saving your company here, motherfucker. We are. Sponsor us, even though I said fuck you. And fuck your company. All right, any last thoughts on that?
R.I.P.
Peace.
Bye.
All right, so for next bit of news, along the lines of DLC changing, Ubisoft has come out and said that because of their success in Siege, Rainbow Six Siege, of essentially selling aesthetics and not content, they're going to start doing this in their games. They say that any content that is a core part of the gameplay experience will now be free, and they're going to focus on selling you things that you don't have to have, but you might want, like outfits, color schemes, whatever the game offers. What do you guys think about, like we kind of already talked about, this new wave of people rethinking DLC in a way that's almost trying to gain trust back from the community and give you the content that you probably should have already gotten when you bought the game?
Well, like Chris had already said, I mean, this is something we're starting to see more and more of, and it is highly reminiscent of free-to-play MMOs, and I think you're going to see it, especially in first-person shooters, a lot more, and especially from the big three publishers there. I think it's incredibly smart to keep your community playing the game and not separating them. I think a great example of that is when we tried to play Battlefield 4 after they gave away all the map packs. The damage seemed like it was already done, so we could not find a game on expansion or DLC maps, only on the core maps, and
nobody was playing them.
And the amount of different lists to look at for game modes for each single DLC, it was a headache. So
even doing it physically was awful, and just listening to you talk about it sounded awful. Like it's overly complicated.
Yeah. So this model makes the game simpler. You get into a game, you can just those maps and rotations, have exclusive game modes to them or whatever. I mean, Overwatch does that, and just focus on cosmetics or even not too much so, but like shortcut type things as well. Like Overwatch has the box and keys and stuff like that, and I think Call of Duty does as well. I don't like that system too much, but it is an example.
Yeah. MMO is exactly what I thought too. When I'm thinking of this, MMO's been around for a while. They've been trying to find ways to get your money without making you feel cheated, and so they're harnessing that. And DLCs have been around for a while too, but people do feel cheated constantly with them. But they still keep doing it. And the communities, I feel like, are dying from it. Like you brought up with Battlefield and a couple other games, Call of Duty. If you don't have the map packs I have, you're not playing with me. So yeah, I think it is smart for them to be following this model. It reminds me of Warframe, of course, being a game that offers you all the cool new content, mission lines for free, with the choice to spend money in the game. You don't have to, and I do willingly because I'm comfortable with Warframe, and I know I don't feel cheated when I give them money. I love the product that they give me. I don't feel like they're trying to swindle me out of my money, and I will fully give them my money. So same thing with Ubisoft. And I've always said too with Ubisoft, they're always really quick to try out new ideas, and they're also really quick to back off of them. They've pissed people off so many times, but like in 2 weeks they're like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. Sorry. So we'll see how this works. But I'm glad they're adopting the idea with them and Respawn. Getting this going, two high-profile companies. I think we're gonna, like we've said already, I think we're gonna see more and more of this. Chris,
It's pretty much the same thing you guys have been saying. I think this is going to become a standard. I mean, when I think of like companies not doing this and problems I've had with it, World of Warcraft comes to mind. I've had so many times where I can't play with friends because one of us doesn't own the right expansion, and it's frustrating. And you feel like you have to buy it if you want to enjoy the game anymore, and it feels like an obligation. And I just get pissed off that I feel like I'm like being forced to do something and pay for something else. I mean, I get it; it's a game, but
they gotta make money.
Right. But you've got my subscription money.
Mm-hmm.
So why the fuck else am I have to pay exorbitant amounts of money just for a little expansion to play with my friends?
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much paid for that expansion in a couple months of paying, what, 15, or did it go down?
15.
It's 15.
Yeah, I mean, so like in 2 months you paid for that expansion. After the months, I know they got to maintain servers and pay people, but I think it evens out. It's almost like a cell phone plan at that point, so they should just give you those upgrades, which are the expansions. But yeah, all really good points, and I think if this goes well, I think we'll only benefit from it. And the biggest thing I'm excited about is community's not fucking dying off. That's the worst. Enjoying a game and then the community just kind of dies because nobody can play with each other.
Yeah.
It's awful. Like playing Battlefield 4, it's like, I want to play those maps, but I literally can't because nobody's playing them. It sucks. There's all that content, a shitload of content, almost too much content in that fucking game that you just can't play. It just doesn't exist. No one's there. But yeah, any last words on that?
I want a tactical corgi in Rainbow Six Siege.
Add it. Make it.
Who would have that?
It doesn't matter. It's cosmetic.
The only thing I can think of is the electric lady. Volt, I think her name was, or
Yeah,
whatever.
it could be the drone. It's
the
fine.
little drone. Just the little
It'll just be a corgi.
You have a flak jacket on
A
and like a
helmet.
fucking like a GoPro on its helmet. So
Uh-huh.
like when you're going around, it's just him,
You know, and instead of dying, he just yips and runs away.
or just lays down, plays dead.
And when he shocks people, he can bark at them.
Yeah, that's great.
Hell yeah. Shake his butt. All right, well, I think it's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Tuesday on Tasty Gaming. As always, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe if you enjoyed this episode. Make sure to check out other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, Tasty Gaming. Check us out on Twitch, Sleep Division. And yeah, play Witcher 3 if you haven't. It was my game of the year last year, as many people's game of the years was Witcher 3. So it's great, and we'll be talking about it. But yeah, as always, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And until whenever the hell a gameplay video comes out this week, we'll see. Have a good week, guys, and take it easy.